It is generally accepted that we should say a few words what the course is all about. The course is about lexicology, about English lexicology, and in today's speech we must try to answer the questions what lexicology is and what lexicology deals with. As for the purposes of the course and the sources for the course, let us speak about such problems at the end of our lecture. Well, lexicology is a branch of linguistics, it's a part of linguistics which studies words, their nature, meaning, history, use, relations between words, semantic relations, word groups, and the whole stock of words, whole vocabulary. So if once again we try to answer the question what lexicology deals with, the answer can be very simple. Lexicology, a branch of linguistics, is the study of words. And the problem usually starts with the word itself. And today we must try to define the word as a linguistic phenomenon. And now let us remember the famous words of Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. What's in a name, that which we call a rose, by any other name would smell as sweet? It comes from Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Act 2. I do hope, you won't find Juliet's words misleading in this context. Of course, here Juliet tells Romeo that a name is an artificial and meaningless convention, and if you were not called Romeo, would he not be the same person she loves? She loves a person who is called Montague, and not the Montague name or the Montague family. What is important for us in this particular context is that these famous lines reflect one of the most important, I would say one of the fundamental problems of linguistic research in general. What's in a name? What's in a word? Is there any direct connection between a word and the object it represents? Could a rose have been called by any other name, a red for example? Then how come that the same referent, for example a rose, can be called by different words in different languages? These and similar questions are answered by lexicological research, though science finds it very difficult to answer such questions. So what is a word after all? Such questions are usually easier to ask than answer. At first you might find it surprising why a person might ask such questions and even dedicate a whole lecture to it. Well, a word is a word. But many scholars have attempted to define the word, and to define the word as a linguistic phenomenon. Yet, none of the definitions can be considered totally satisfactory in all aspects. It is equally surprising that despite all the achievements in the field of lexicology, in linguistics in general, in modern science, certain essential aspects of the nature of word still escape us, nor do we fully understand the phenomena called language, of which the word is a fundamental unit. We do not know much about the origin of language, and consequently we do not know much about the origin of words. It is true that there are several hypotheses, some of them no less fantastic than the theory of the divine origin of language and so many languages that humankind has. Probably all of us heard what the Bible says in Genesis. According to the biblical account, people spoke a single language, and they resolved to build a city with a tower with its top in the heavens. God came down to see what they did and said, "They are one people and have one language, and nothing will be withholden from them what they purpose to do." So God said, "Come, let us go down and confound their speech." And so God scattered them upon the face of the earth and confused their languages, and they left off building the city, which was called Babel, because God there confounded the language of all the earth. It comes from Genesis 11. Of course, it is not the major goal of today's lecture, to discuss the problem of the origin of language and of the origin of words. It is true that there are some more hypotheses, some of them no less fantastic, as we have already mentioned, than the theory of the divine origin of language and so many languages that we have all over the world. One thing is clear: we know nothing. It would be more precise to say we know almost nothing about the origin of language, about the origin of words, and about the mechanism by which a speaker's mental process is converted into sound groups called word, nor about the reverse process whereby a listener's brain converts acoustic phenomena into concepts and ideas, thus establishing a two-way process of communication. We know very little about the nature of relations between the word and the referent. By referent we mean object, for example, table, chair, rose, phenomena, for example, love or friendship, quality, for example, good or bad, action, for example, cry, walk, etc., denoted by the word. If we assume that there is a direct relation between the word and the referent, which seems logical, it gives rise to another question. How should we explain the fact that the same referent is designated by quite different sound groups in different languages? Here we can repeat the same question. How come that the same referent, for example a rose, can be called by different words in different languages? And now let us not extend the list of unknowns. I hope you're not likely to be desperate not to know so many things. One thing is definitely clear: there is nothing accidental about the vocabulary of the language, as well as there is nothing accidental in life, probably. By the vocabulary of language is understood the total stock of words, that each word is a small unit within a vast, efficient, and perfectly balanced system. I would say perfectly organized system. And now it is probably high time to look at the brighter side and register some of the things we do know about the nature of the word. First, we do know that the word is a unit of speech, which as such serves the purpose of communication. Thus, the word can be defined as a unit of communication. Secondly, the word can be perceived as a total of sounds which comprise it. Third, the word, viewed structurally, possesses several characteristics. The modern approach to word studies is based on distinguishing between external structure of the word and internal structure of the word. By external structure of the word, we mean its morphological structure. For example, in the word post-impressionists, the following morphemes can be distinguished: the prefixes post, im, the root press, the noun-forming suffixes ian, ist, and the grammatical suffix of plurality s. All these morphemes constitute the external structure of the word post-impressionists. So, if we make a rough comparison, we can say that external structure of the word, or its morphological structure, is a kind of body for the word. As for the internal structure of the word, or its meaning, is nowadays commonly referred to as the word's semantic structure. So if external structure of the word can be called the body of the word, then internal structure of the word can be called the soul of the word. And now what do you think? Which is more important, soul or body? By the way, internal structure of the word is certainly the word's main aspect. Hence, words serve the purposes of human communication solely due to their meanings. it is impossible to communicate with each other if we don't know the meaning of the word. And the area of lexicology specializing in the semantic studies of the word is called semantics.